What up, everybody? It's your man, Dame the NYDC. Two mics up. Yo, we back again. Brand new episode. Man, tonight's guest is going to be joining me on the other mic. Man, we talking about a best-selling author. We talking about an entrepreneur. We talking about a motivational coach, business coach, corporate trainer. Y'all got enough fingers, man? Are y'all counting with me? Are you staying? Stay tuned. I'm telling you, because you're going to get lost in this here, right? So I'm going to bring to the stage, tonight's guest that's really going to educate us and rock with us tonight. Nobody else, no one other than, the one and only, J Haleem Washington. Like I said, he's a best-selling author. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business coach, motivational speaker, corporate trainer. Jay, before you even get started, man, you're gonna have to turn on your mic because we want to hear what you dishing out tonight, bro. Don't hide behind the mic, man. Go ahead and talk to us, brother.
Hey, man. First and foremost, thank you for having me, brother. I love it.
My
Two
pleasure.
mics up. That's what's up. All right, man. Yeah, I gotta figure out who that person is you talking about, though.
Yeah, well, that's what we wanna know. We want to know about that person. We want to know about that gentleman. Who is J Haleem, man? Give us some background about yourself.
Oh man, born and raised in Newark, New Jersey.
All right.
In the crack era. So I always say it because it's funny how we lived that thing, and now you're seeing people making movies about
it. Yeah.
So you're looking like, oh man, I remember that. Nah, that didn't go that way. And so yeah, man, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, in the New Jersey Drive era. That's real thing.
Okay, real thing. Yes, sir.
We lived that. And, my family got hit real hard by the crack epidemic. Everybody in my household, except for my grandmother, every adult in my household was strung out on drugs. Wow. And, I was the first grandchild, so I strived to do it the different route. Mm-hmm. So I went to hustling.
Right.
And, got shot at 14.
Wow.
Really outside, but I was doing the dual thing. I was in school playing ball, but when I came home, how I made my money was on the curb.
Right.
And I stumbled through high school, graduated on paper, but I wasn't there for my graduation because I was in the county jail.
Dang.
Wow. I had a cousin who was able to sneak me out of New Jersey and get me down south to go to college, grateful to him. And then I became a felon in college, because I still didn't really get that. I just got the slap on the wrist in Jersey. But once I got down south, I still was doing a lot more of the same things. And so I got that F on my chest that was going to stick. But I still was able to stumble through and get through college, and actually got through college with good grades, but I couldn't get a job because I was a felon.
Right.
And, entrepreneurship and things like that wasn't so prevalent back in those days, 20 years ago. And it wasn't no social media and all that other stuff. And I'm in the South, I'm in South Carolina. That's still behind. South Carolina is so far behind Georgia and Atlanta and North Carolina. So they wasn't on the forward thinking movement. It's like, hey, you are who you are. You got to deal with that, Right. So I just went into full-time entrepreneurship, took some crappy jobs here and there.
Right.
While I was trying to move up that ladder of entrepreneurship. But again, it wasn't the resources that we have now about being a business owner. So I ended up going back to South Carolina, left when I graduated, went back once the economy went crazy in the Obama years. And, I had to face it again because I didn't never correct me being a felon. I never sorted that out.
Right.
And so I had to take an $8 an hour job. And I worked that for about a year. And when I left that job, that's when I Won't Starve was created. I created that mantra, I won't starve, because I knew I was destined for greater. I knew I was there with better. And, I had picked up a camera like a year or two before that and started shooting. And, I knew I can do this thing. I've been through enough. And so I knew I had a lot of people on my head talking about, you stupid, you got kids, you got to take care of this, you got a family. But, this I Won't Starve, the hashtag, it just was a hashtag, at that time. And then it became from a mantra to a movement.
That and that's the part that I want to. Glad you kind of put a pin in it right there, because I think it's important. Because I always say, hey, I try to use this platform. If one young man, of color sits here and is listening to your story and is kind of not in your footsteps, but following that same journey along that path, right? And to get where you are now, to hear and now see what we're about to talk about, I want them to understand really. So from that mantra and that mindset, how did you really get started, or what was that pivotal moment for you on that journey towards your entrepreneurship to say, aha, this is it. This right here is that moment that really set you on your way.
Man, let me tell you something. It was hell. I'm just gonna tell you right now, it was hell
Right,
because I'm a good guy. I've always been a good kid. I don't have the reputation the way I hurt people. I just had a reputation for getting money.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And as I got more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, I found better ways to get it, more legal ways to get it.
Right,
But all we saw was drugs.
right,
And so that's what I did. I had little opportunities where, like, I started working at a car wash when I was 14, but it was owned by one of the biggest drug dealers in my city.
wow,
And
wow,
so
wow.
I see the cars coming in and out. We washing the Lexuses and the Benzes and stuff. We're going to the Saturday night dog fights there, and we're passing, giving drinks and holding this and passing out money. And we seeing them throw away $5,000-$10,000 on the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I want that.
Right, right, right,
I had enough guts to try it. So, but I could have stayed at that car wash, but I was
right.
like, I'm gonna go here. And so when I got to college, and now it's hard being 12 hours away from home, and
Yeah,
you're starving.
yeah,
And I grew up fast. I wasn't a kid. I had to get reduced back to a kid when I went down there. I was already on the curb. And so now I'm starving. I'm like, I don't have to starve. And
right,
so I'm like, look, let me go ahead and show you how I get down. So I got down like the same way I was getting down at home there. But I paid for it by friends being murdered. I have a laundry list of friends being murdered. Friends going away for 20 years when they didn't do half the stuff I did.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here trying to figure this out, and I'm a good kid. As I said, I graduated with honors in college, not in high school, but in college.
Right.
Down.
Right.
And then so you go out here and you try to get a job, and they don't give it to you. No, I'm sorry. They gave me the job.
Right.
And then said, no, never, no, because your background, we gotta let you go. So
That's real.
That level of rejection is crazy. So then when I leave South Carolina, go to DC, and I'm running the business, I'm running the cleaning business, and everything I tried to do in DC worked. So I got the real misconception that things was sweet until the Obama years came. My wife lost her job on Capitol Hill. The White House is 1600.
Right.
Pennsylvania Avenue. My wife worked 600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So not too far away from the White House.
White House, right.
She lost her job with 3 weeks notice, no severance package.
Wow.
And it wasn't just her, it was everybody.
Right.
The whole company shutting down, right?
Right.
So now we stuck up here. DC costs way more than it costs to live in South Carolina, one of the most expensive parts in the country. And now we got kids. Now we starting to have kids. So we go back south, and now it's like, oh, now they're gonna remind me that I'm a felon.
Right.
And my wife can't get a 6-figure job in South Carolina. They're looking like, man, people not hiring her, thinking that people told her, I'm not gonna hire you because you're not gonna stay because we can't afford you.
Can't afford you. That's real talk.
So like really what's going on at that time. And then so what made me take the $8 an hour job is that my car was being repossessed. The notice was on the door.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And the camera wasn't working enough for me to make that money. My wife pregnant with my son. My car got repossessed the day my son came home from the hospital.
Wow.
Being born.
Wow.
Literally the same night.
Wow.
So and I got the notice on the door the next day that we're going to be evicted. So $8 an hour, I'll take it.
Yeah, you got to live. I feel you.
I'm going to take this, but I'm also going to sell these bootleg movies. I had a homeboy who went to college who had a dealership. He understood my situation. He was like, look, I can work with you, Jay. You can help me go get cars from the auction, but you can't sell cars.
Right.
I'll take it. So I'm running to go get cars from the auction, working $8 an hour jobs, taking photos, got a booth at the flea market. I'm doing all I can to not go back to the streets, but at the same time, take care of my family. And so after I went to a conference with my church in Florida, in the very next year in Orlando with TD Jakes, and this is when he put out his book Instinct, and he said that he brought out a full-grown lion on the stage. It was in a cage, of course, but he had a full-grown lion. He said this lion had been in the cage since he was a cub. He said, but so that's all he knows. But why do we have him caged up? He said we're afraid that his instinct is going to kick in.
Yep.
And he said, somebody in here is going through that same situation. You know that you're way better than the circumstance that you are living in right now.
Right.
And I cried like a big baby, man. I cried because everybody who came with me said he's talking to you.
He's talking to you. Yeah, exactly.
He could have said he's talking to him, whatever. They all came and said he's talking to you.
Right.
And months after that, I got my first office. And then a couple months after that, I left my job. And I said, I'm never going back. And I haven't been.
That's what's up. That's real talk. So, you know, and I mean, I knew I feel it, right? I can feel like I got the hairs on my arms are standing up, but because that's real talk. That's the truth, right? So I have to ask then, you know, from going from that journey, that first, you know, like you say, I won't starve and all of these, I mean, terrible things that happened to you, but actually led you to the path of your beginning of your greatness, right?
Yeah.
But then you took that and you flipped that then though to also becoming an author and a writer. Now talk to us, Jay, like, because I know you probably got a story. Look, I understand. Look, I'm from New York. I know Newark, the bricks, all that. I get where you coming from. Word up, right? So how did you take all of those stories and transform them in the way that you have? Do you have somebody working with you? Did you have like a ghostwriter? Like for those listening and maybe have stories to tell too. Like, how can they maybe follow your footsteps?
Oh, let me say, it's so funny, right? Because that same conference, a lady came, laid hands on me, and said, "You're gonna write a book."
Wow.
And I said, "Nah, not me." But I ain't say it to her, but I said to myself, like, because I never in my wildest dreams wanted to write a book.
Right.
And me being a photographer, and when I tell you I started a business right out of college, I did very well with that business, and I was able to actually sell that business and then move to South Carolina. Right. So I understood business acumen. So as a photographer, I knew I didn't want to take pictures of people's birthday parties and weddings. So I went into the corporate space. And here I am taking pictures of these major conferences of people speaking all the time.
Right.
And I would hear people talk about their story. I'm like, man, I got a story. Like, you know, I felt like that, right? So in the midst of that, you know, I started becoming successful at photography. I mean, you see the resume, I've done a whole bunch of things. So people started asking me to speak. Right. And a good friend of mine brought me to Atlanta to speak at Georgia State. And I was sold after that. But then for me, I was like, you know what? I don't want nobody to be trying to tell me if I'm good enough to speak, to pay me or nothing like that. So I created my own workshop, which is called I Won't Starve Experience. And so I headlined that. I brought in a couple other speakers and I was the headliner. And I did that. And so people kept asking me, where's the books? What are you talking about? Where's the books? Like, you should have a book. You should have a book. I'm like, man, I ain't writing no book. Like, so then I did holler at a couple people to ghostwrite for me, and it just didn't work at first. And then when I met my now assistant, Tamika, she coined the phrase the ink pen diva.
Okay.
And that's her thing, you know, she helped people write books. Right. And she did actually ghostwrite my first book. It's not really ghost because I put it right there on the front of the book. Okay. When you open it, I Won't Starve from $8 to 6 figures. She put pen to paper on that book right there. And she said she'll never do it again. That was her first time. That was her last time too. Because it was just so difficult dealing with me. And I just knew what I wanted to say. And more importantly, I knew what I didn't want to say. Right. And because of my background and being in the street, everybody wanted me to talk about a lot of things, but I have friends who were still knee deep in the street.
Yeah, still living their life.
Literally, once I released the book and I was on tour, my homeboys back in Jersey got picked up. You know what I'm saying? And they're in that story if I put that part in there.
Right,
and
right.
I'm like, you're not gonna have that type of situation. And these cats are like really, really fake. They're away now, but they got time. I mean, they got more than $1 million worth of drugs. So like these are my dogs, like who I was in the mix with on the curb with, and you know, I can't talk about that. And I still
Yeah.
got friends that's coming up off of bids and stuff like that. So I'm like, we can't do that. It might sound juicy to you, but
Yeah, but
nah,
that's real. It's real life though. That's real
we
life
can't
stuff.
play those type of games.
Yeah.
So we got through it, you know.
Yeah.
But what happened was the blessing was is that I got the bug. And so the next three, that was my pen. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? It's
Okay.
my story, but the next three was my pen. You
Right.
know, and you know, my last one, I always say that was my greatest work so far. I'm getting better and better at it.
That's what's up. So, look, we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause, but we're gonna come back because we want to talk some more. We want to talk about the academy. We
Mhm.
also want to talk about, your business coaching and your corporate training as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're gonna take a short pause for the cause, and we're gonna be right back with J Haleem right after this commercial break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we back out the break. We back with J Haleem, I Won't Starve, author, right? I mean, this man is full of, so much author, speaker, writer, business coach, trainer, motivator, all of that. And before the break, we were talking about, your works and your pen game, how your pen game has been going, to the next level. But I do want to touch really, really brief and really allow you to talk about also your coaching,
Yeah.
right? Because you're also a business coach and a corporate trainer. Man, now how did you go? Because your story is amazing.
Thank you,
People,
man.
you know what I'm saying? You're busy, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's that hustle mentality, that grind mentality. Like you said, that I won't starve mentality from your background. But how did you then flip take all of those steps now to get into coaching and corporate training, brother? Talk about that.
Oh man, so like you said, the hustle portion is what got me kind of caught up because we think that hustle is an actual thing that you put on a resume, and it's not.
Right, right.
It's an attribute, but it's not a skill that you can say that, hey, this is what you can get hired from, right? And so I had that for years, but what I realized after moving around and going through all my trials and tribulations that I didn't have nothing to stand on.
Right.
So when I finally put that camera in my hand and I took it seriously, that's the first time I really felt free. That's the first time I really felt like I really won't starve. Like I know that no matter what, I could put that camera in my hand and I could produce, I could provide for me and my family, and not just provide now, but on a high level. And so that got addictive to me. So whatever I did, I wanted to actually get a level of mastery. And so when I Won't Starve, the experience was created, I partnered with the city. When I lived in South Carolina, I partnered with the city of Columbia, Midlands Technical College, which was the local school there, and then who was I? Oh, a bank, work on Wood Forest Bank. So we partnered with them, and they had me coaching these other entrepreneurs because I was doing government work with the camera. And so now here I am coaching these individuals, teaching them how to go ahead and get certified, things of that nature. And I'm like, man, I want people to take me serious. So that's when I went and got certified to be a coach. And then I'm running these trainings for the city, for the school, partnering with the banks, things like that. So again, I wanted them to take me seriously. So I went and got certified as a trainer and got certified to train trainers. So
That's
I
what's
just
up.
wanted to make sure that I'm taking serious in the marketplace, and then I am an expert when I step out and doing what I'm doing. So when I write these books to talk about business coaching, talk about entrepreneur development, things of that nature, you know that I am a subject matter expert. So that's all that was. I didn't never want to be in a situation where I couldn't perform at a high level. I have a quote that I created called "The platform you leap from is more important than the platform you land on." And that platform we're talking about is the foundation. What foundation do you have? You know, if you created a great foundation, it doesn't matter where the world take you, you're going to be able to perform.
Now that right there is profound, and that's the straight facts, like period, point blank. And I hope people let that sink in, because that foundation, man, is going to carry you through just about anything. It's got to be strong and solid to carry you through the good, the bad, the ups, the downs. And that was very profound in what you said. So with the academy, right? What other programs or services, let's just say, if I wanted to get involved, or if I wanted to participate, or anyone watching or listening, what can they find? Or one, how can people get involved first? And then what will we find, getting involved with you in the academy?
Oh man, so anybody want to get involved, especially financially, y'all go ahead to academy.org and go on there and support. But with the academy, it was created after, like, around the pandemic time, because I was doing all this work with the government, but it made sense for me to create a nonprofit leg of my of I Won't Starve LLC, so that we can actually do more. Right. And so the goal behind the academy is to help Black and browns, primarily Black first, and then everybody else, because that's what everybody else's situation is. Everybody else, then us. So I said it was going to be us, and then everybody else. We're not turning nobody away, but I wanted to give our people an opportunity to learn entrepreneurship for free. And so we've partnered with local government agencies in different parts of the country to be able to give entrepreneurial classes. We also have a self-employment summit where this is geared towards people that have felonies, like myself. I've been pardoned since 2021. But people that come that have that situation, they want to be self-employed. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to take on that risk, but they have issues, probably challenged backgrounds, things of that nature. So they want to go out and be self-employed. So we help them with that situation. And then we also have a program called The Perfect Partnership, teaching people how to partner with the government and so that they can actually make money. And all of this is free.
Okay, well, look, and this is important though. And I really, not only that it's free, but I do love the part that you say, we're helping young men and women of color, one, work through their, coming back and re-entering into everyday life and working through that struggle. And sometimes that red mark, if you will, that scarlet letter of being a felony, having been a former felon, if you will. And I love that, because just because, you may have made some serious mistakes, give it to whatever it may be. Everyone does, I do believe, deserve a second chance, especially if you did your time and whatever it may be, you followed through the court systems and you did what you're supposed to. You do deserve a second chance. So I love the fact that you created a place and a space for former, people incarcerated people. The second thing is, I think by showing, or being an example, I should say, not even showing, being a living example of all the things that you've done and that you're doing, it gives others hope.
Yeah.
And hope that to know that, what, I can do that too. And I wonder, like, sometimes, being a writer, do you sit back and think, or when you're speaking to people, what is your mission or your vision when you're speaking? Like, is it meant to touch people? Is it meant to deliver a message? Like, where do you see, your mission and vision with I Won't Starve, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Where do you see that at?
Oh man, so I think I take two things from that. Touching people, I never believe in the if you just get one. I always get way more than one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think if we get one, that means we just said something and stepped off. But if you actually ingratiate yourself into a circumstance, then you're gonna get many. Right. And and I'll say this, like, I moved to Vegas, and as soon as I got here, I wasn't here for about 2-3 months, and then next I adopted a school. It's called Mission High School, and this school focuses on helping kids that has struggled with addiction. So all the kids that go to school struggle with addiction. I could have gotten one by talking to them, but now we've been there every month for school this year. Every single month we've been there having lunch with them. We're there for when they're saying, hey, I'm on my 1 year anniversary. I'm on my 6 month anniversary. We're there.
Wow.
We're there performing, doing what we need to do. Me and my family, we don't eat dinner for Thanksgiving before we serve other people. Damn. You know, this I Won't Starve is a real situation. So, and you have no other choice but to take individual more than one when you ingratiate yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Like part of my story I left out was, you know, there's a place called Harvest Hope back in South Carolina. It's like a Salvation Army, if you will, but it's just there. In South Carolina. That was where when we were going through that, about to get put out of house, that was where we got our groceries from every Wednesday via a church. So when we throw events, something always going to Harvest Hope. Whenever we throw an event, I got pictures of us with the truck full to the brim with stuff going to Harvest Hope because that fed me and my family. You know, so for me, that's what was the goal, is to actually transform, inspire, and expose.
Yes, sir.
You know,
love that.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to transform your mindset about, hey, it's not over for me. I actually can do it. You know, how do we do that? By my inspiration, by telling you my story.
That's
one
right.
person you got one example right here.
That's right. That's right.
Then okay, here's the exposure. So I'm not just leaving you with my story. This is exactly, I'm going to expose you to what needs to be done. Like I told you, we brought the city of Columbia in so that they can show them what their projects are. And I told them, they said, how much money you want? I don't want no money first. I want you to bring your programs. We'll get to that later. Bring the program. I don't have these programs. You got them. So give them to them. They don't need to pay. They don't need to do anything. Give them what you have that I don't have.
Yeah,
you got education. Give them what they have that I don't have. You got some money. You have this bank. Everybody in there left with a bank account, no matter what their credit looked like.
Wow.
So that's what that looks like. So there's no way they can ever forget I Won't Starve or myself when they do that. What it looks like going forward is that, and this is funny, me and Tamika talked about this. You know, this world is going to a situation where it's going to be, jobs are going to be taken away from people. That's already happening.
Yep.
So this is the perfect time to get on a message like I Won't Starve, to understand that no matter what the circumstances is, I'm not going to starve. I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to just survive. I'm going to thrive.
That's what's
in this situation, and no matter what it is, because why I'm creating a hellified platform. So no matter where the world takes me, I'm going to be able to perform on a high level.
Love it.
So that's where I Won't Starve is going. That's where the message, that's where the mantra, and that's where the movement is going in the next 5, 10 years and forever.
Man, look here, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all heard it here on Two Mics Up. Make sure you go out and you support J Haleem Washington, I Won't Starve Academy. Make sure you go check him out. You know, we're going to put all of his information in the bio. You can catch him online. You see his information right there. We're going to make sure we drop that in the bio. Make sure you follow him across social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter. He's on LinkedIn as well. I am J Haleem. We're going to go ahead and put the I Won't Starve information down in the bio. Go out and support, you know, this brother and the work that he's doing to uplift and inspire our community through not only his journey, but through his story and through his motivation. Jay, man, I really appreciate you taking time out tonight, man, rocking with us here on Two Mics Up.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, man, we're gonna try to do this together, man. You know what I'm saying? There's more than one road. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate that, bro. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your man, Dame D, NYDC, Two Mics Up, Season 5, Mogul TV Global Network. Stay tuned. We're going to have more bangers, more real talk with dope guests just like this. As we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, may you stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out. 007.